2 years ago, I was lucky enough to secure myself an interview with Ron Jeremy for a documentary I was making on the Australian porn industry. Due to unforeseen circumstances, I have been unable to complete work on that documentary. However, as it's been 2 years, I thought it's a good idea to now release this interview for you to watch. A little disclaimer though, as it has been 2 years, some of the information in this interview may be out of date. Now please, enjoy.
Hi, I'm Ron Jeremy, and I've been to Australia a few times. I was at the Sexpos about 7 years ago, both in Melbourne and Sydney. And then I came back and did Sydney here a few months ago, and now I'm doing Melbourne right now. So it makes 2 Melbournes and 2 Sydneys. Never did Brisbane. My experience with the Australian sex industry was there were 3 girls who worked a lot in America, and I also worked out here with some unknown faces. I did a couple of sex scenes out here. But these girls were the big stars of the old days. We're talking 15 years ago. It was Sunny McKay, who I just heard from Fiona passed away, which is very sad. A girl named Alice Springs, named after that landmark, and a girl named, what was the third one? It was Deidre Holland, who was the best known one of all, who actually married a porn actor named John Doe. And she was a Dutch girl, but she was living in Australia, and she was probably the best known name. She was the first Australian actress to go under contract. I'm not sure if it was VCA or Vivid, but Deidre Holland had a contract. Beautiful girl. And those are the 3 porn stars that I knew about that were the big names in Australia. And John T. Bone was a director from America who used to shoot a lot here in Australia. And those 3 girls used to go to America all the time and shoot movies there as well. So they're the ones who were doing the traveling. When I'd meet new actresses in Australia, I didn't know them. They had not come to America, so they were just big here in Australia. But those other 3 were internationally known, and I don't know what happened to the other 2. So, but it was nice. Australia needed men too, which is nice. You know, they would fly men in because it isn't just women that you need for a scene. You have to have guys that can keep an erection. Because remember, these are the days before Viagra, Cialis, and Levitra. You had to rely on your right hand and a good sense of humor. So. I have recently been told about the government's interference as far as shooting small-breasted women looking like it's minors. But that's ridiculous. I mean, how do you discriminate against girls who have not got big boobies? You're going to try to force the population to get boobs done? That's ridiculous. I mean, if a girl has her ID and she has her driver's license, passport, whatever, and she's the right age, who cares if she's flat or not? I used to make a joke, say put a little Clearasil on those things, they'll be gone by morning. And the other thing about that is also very crazy is that the government's cracking down on what they think is ejaculation on women. They think it's I know what they're doing. They think that you're taking a pee, but you're not. I've consulted actually well-known gynecologists in America. One is one in Beverly Hills, and he said that it's the Bartholin gland that secretes a certain fluid that is what they call female ejaculate. Not all girls can do it. Some guys say, like the chauvinistic, I'll get any girl to squirt. I'll look them in the eye and say, no, you won't. Some girls just can't do it. But they can still have good orgasms without it. So what the government is doing here in Australia, they're banning the ejaculation, thinking that it's peeing because it looks like it. It's not. The big difference is it blurts out. It's clear, comes flopping out of the vagina, as compared to a clear yellowish fluid that comes out of the urethra in a thin little line. That's urine. That's peeing. So they're trying to ban peeing. But no one shoots peeing videos anyway that I'm aware of, In America, they used to have this joke that it was called European footage because only in Europe could you show that stuff. Or European, he's a peeing and she's a peeing. Those are the jokes, folks. And but 9 times out of 10, when there's a problem with things being banned, things being prosecuted, it's being sponsored by the church. The Christian church has a problem with porn. In America, whenever a Republican is in office, the religious folks put him there, so he has to throw the bone back. So under Republicans, we get prosecuted. And they also go up against stem cell research, cloning research, DNA research, the porn business, the topless dancing business, and that's kind of what happens, Whereas Democrats don't have that agenda because the religious folks didn't put them in power anyway. I imagine the same thing goes here in Australia. The religious folks have a problem with porn. They feel it's evil, bad, demeaning, against the Bible, Although if people look at the Bible, a lot of nasty stuff in there too. They're just against it. So that causes a problem. The religious folks have to understand that the freedom of speech works for all of us. You know, like in America, there's a Gideon Bible in every hotel room. I've been all around the world. They have Bibles in hotel rooms, and it's fine. Yet they have a problem as a hustler in certain magazine stores. They get mad at our programming on certain channels that have adult programming. There's more religious programming. You just got to sit back and relax and realize that this world is fit for both of us. You can be religious or not religious. Countries like Australia or America are big believers in freedom of speech. So religious folks have to pay attention to that. The upside of being involved in porn is you make decent money. You do things that you enjoy doing, like hide the bacon, shoot the shorebird, and drain the main vein, and squeeze the weasel. These are things that's fun. You know, I enjoy that, and so I've had a fun social life by being in porn. The upside is good traveling, going all over the world, working with beautiful girls. That kind of spells it out right there, doesn't it? Downside could be that sometimes you can't. It's hard to keep a relationship sometimes because, you know, you travel a lot, and you have to have a mindset that there's such a thing as having sex and making love, and they're two separate, you know, things. You know, even the sex therapists call it recreational sex and making love. So what we do is recreational sex. You know, the people, again, the religious Christians feel that shouldn't exist, that sex has to be marriage only, or at least serious relationships. Well, that's changing, and the kids in college are changing that. They even have a thing now called the boy toy. That didn't exist when I was a kid. You know, the women would never have that. They had to have, like in my dad's day, they had to feel it was a emotional relationship, then leads to sex. Now women are getting a lot tougher. They have a boy toy. The guy comes over, services them. They go, "You were a lot of fun. Get the heck out. One cab fare? You know, I got homework to do. Get out. You were fun." So now women are realizing that you can enjoy sex for sex sake, and there are conventions like this that prove that point. Well, obviously, the government, you know, restricting access to porn is unfair because people have a right to be in business and to make money. If you're going to restrict, you know, the access to porn, and how people are going to get any kind of traffic, and it's not fair. But on the other hand, I'm not in favor of them pushing in people's faces either. You know, I was behind an organization, well, there's a thing called ASACP, which is the Association of Sites Advocating Child Protection. I don't want porn forced on you either. You know, like I don't want barkers coming up to you in the streets and going, "Hey, watch porn, look on it," you know, and bothering families with kids and advertising porn. I don't like that. I think porn should be kept in its place amongst the adult arena, you know? So I don't think, I look at both sides of it. The government should leave us alone, let us advertise, do our business, but in the same vein, we have a responsibility as well, make sure it goes into the right hands. There was a website that was called whitehouse.com. There have been a few websites where if you press the wrong button, if you misspell Britney Spears, it goes to a porn site. That's not fair, because then you're getting people to watch that weren't really into it, you hit them by surprise. I think porn should be there to choose it, not to be forced into it. So, I mean, it's both sides. Well, I'm saying is Australia is fighting the same exact battle that America is fighting, which is also the same battle that Amsterdam is fighting right now. I did a thing there. I was in this crowd giving speeches. They're trying to cut back on the red light district. And again, I try to point out to them, and it's such an important thing to think about, is that whether you go to a brothel or not, and I don't, whether you smoke pot or not, and I don't. The fact that this is a country that has that, and it is legal, and you can have it if you want it, makes you a liberal people. It makes you the kind of people that I like. People that are understanding, and they live and let live. You know, so that's why I love the Amsterdam people, because, you know, even if you don't smoke pot or go to a brothel, you don't mind that it exists in your neighborhood. I think that's great. I think it makes for liberal people, and it's a shame. I mean, again, I got to look at and I have a lot of religious friends, but I have to look them in the eye when I debate them and say that freedom of speech works for all of us. You know, it isn't just yours. You know, and another great quote came from Larry Flint, who said, hello, he talks like that, who said that freedom of speech doesn't protect speech that you like. So you got to keep that in mind, you know.